Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sara Gonzales, joined by some lovely gentlemen here today, this fine Monday afternoon. Mr. Jason Buttrill, chief researcher.
Yep.
And Glenn, he was so quick to point that out. Mr. Jeff Fisher, host of Chewing the Fat podcast. You can find it everywhere you get your podcast. And Mr. Andrew Heaton.
I am the left hand of Jeffy.
Host of.
I'm wearing a waistcoat.
It looks rather dapper, I might say.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. My fashion sense is just what would Bob Cratchit wear if he won the lotto? And I feel like I'm knocking it out of the park.
You actually did.
Andrew Heaton of Something's Off with Andrew Heaton and Something Is Off with Andrew Heaton. You can find that also everywhere you get your podcasts. All right, Jason, top story today.
If you sow the wind, you must be prepared to reap the whirlwind. And Ralph Northam. I keep on calling him Northman, like Viking.
He is definitely not a Viking.
It's more of a Game of Thrones commercial. It is. Ah, the Northman cometh.
He is reaping the whirlwind.
All right, Jeffy.
A new enforcement officer has begun in Washington, D.C., and I'm excited for him and the people involved.
I keep saying that we need more enforcement officers.
Absolutely.
So I'm really glad
don't
to
have
hear that.
enough.
Correct. All right, Andrew.
What do you think the age should be to legally smoke at? I'll tell you.
Oh, all right. A lot to get into there, obviously. Before we do that, I want to thank our sponsor, Riduzone. So I'm going to make it really simple for everyone. I used to be fat, and I'm not anymore. And I lost a bunch of weight. And excuse me, I'm getting eyes over here from Jeff Fisher. Jeffy, you've been losing weight, haven't you?
I'm concerned. I'm interested in your story.
Are you?
And yes, I have actually now, yeah. And I lost it one other time too, and I'm a prime example of losing it and gaining it back.
And gaining it back, right? Okay, so that's the big thing, is that we go on these yo-yo diets, and you're like, yay, I lost 30 pounds, and then you're like, oh crap, I just gained 45.
Right.
And it's hard to lose it and then maintain it. This is where Riduzone has worked for me tremendously. It can work for you. It can work for you, Jeff Fisher. So they've taken the good molecule in olive oil and extracted it, put it into a capsule that you take before your meals, and it helps boost your metabolism, and it helps you feel full longer, so you're not just constantly craving things, going to the pantry. Maybe you're bored and you're just like, I want a snack. Yeah, that doesn't happen when you take Riduzone. So try it, see if it works for you. Like I said, it worked for me. It works for me. I take it all the time. It's riduzone.com, RIDUZONE.com. Use promo code THEBLAZE for 30% off of a 3-month supply. We did the math for you. That's $1.39 a day. Are you kidding? That's a no-brainer. That's a solid investment. You spend more than that when you go to Starbucks and buy a coffee every morning.
You can't drive by Starbucks for that.
Yeah,
They deduct that amount from your card automatically.
Automatically.
Drive by Starbucks, boop, $1.30.
Just breathe their air.
I can't go to Starbucks due to judge orders.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize we were so much alike.
All right, Jason. Ralph Northam.
Yes, there's been a lot of wind sowing lately, but it really kind of reached a peak, I think, during the Kavanaugh hearings. And when they're like going through this guy's yearbook and they're going through all the things that he did while he was in high school, that should have actually made them a little bit worried about the Pandora's box that they were opening. Like if we can hit someone like this, it can very easily, I'm sure there's nobody at this table that didn't do something stupid in high school.
I didn't even go to high school. Don't look into it.
I was an angel. I don't know what you're talking about.
Even college.
I never snuck out or went to parties I wasn't supposed to or any of that.
Do not buy it. Do not buy it at all.
Nobody go back through my history, because I'm telling you right now, so you don't need to look.
The point is that everyone has got skeletons in their closet. We were all idiots all the way up and through college, high school, college.
We're supposed to be evolving. Right?
Evolving, growing. The silliness has kept on going. It went through, Kevin Hart, things that he did back in the day that he apologized for, but then they still, wouldn't even accept the apology. There's got to be a point where you just say enough is enough. Stop it. So this thing with Ralph Northam. Ralph Northam.
King of the North.
King of the North.
King beyond the wall.
This whole thing with him, so he obviously had a really horrible week. Was it last week?
Oh yeah, he's had a tough 3 or 4 days, man.
With the abortion thing, he needs to own that. He was very, very...
Well, but let me just interject here. I don't think he felt like... he doubled down on his comments, right?
Totally,
so he didn't feel like he had said anything wrong.
Right. So he, in my opinion, he's getting everything he deserves on that. But then this next article came out, and it was an article that when he was in high school, when he was in medical school, in his medical school yearbook, there was a picture. One person was in blackface, one person was in a KKK outfit.
Boy, draw straws for which one of those you want to be.
Wow. Well, I mean,
associated
But
with.
can't legally do that anymore if they're plastic.
And
We'll talk about that in a moment.
It was obvious too that I'm just kind of like thinking through his mindset. He apologized immediately for it. He's like, oh my gosh, sorry. He didn't own which person he was, because I'm sure he was like, which one is worse? Okay, they're both equally bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just apologize. That's basically where he left it at.
That's supposed to be good enough. Sorry.
So I was full on board with wanting to defend him at that point, and I felt sickening for it, because what he said about the abortion angle, I did not want to defend the man. But because of this, I was like, wait a minute. If he's apologizing for it, I want to hear, I'm sorry, and a little more of an explanation. If it would have been, look, I was an idiot back then. I was in my early 20s. You know, I was chasing women and doing stupid stuff. And now I'm, what is he, in his 50s, early 50s, something like that?
He also fielded others. He went, actually, I didn't do it. I did pretend to be Michael Jackson. So
So that's where it was.
He started throwing out, in case you want other stuff to research, here you go.
Right.
Pass this out.
Yeah. Stop digging the hole. Stop. But that's where I couldn't defend him anymore. I was composing that tweet. I had it ready. It was a masterful, sweet hot take of a tweet. It was going to be
Chaucer once said.
Yes, it's exactly. It was on that level. But then he kind of recanted and said, nah, that wasn't me. That was other kids, or something. But if you're looking into this, I do kind of have a history of, blackface with Michael Jackson. Do we actually have a side of that where he admits to this?
Yeah, he admits to doing blackface at a dance. Yes, I believe that we do have that, if we could cue that up and play it.
That same year, I did participate in a dance contest in San Antonio, in which I darkened my face as part of a Michael Jackson costume. I look back now and regret that I did not understand the harmful legacy of an action like that. It is because my memory of that episode is so vivid that I truly do not believe I am in the picture in my yearbook.
Okay, so he admits to the other thing.
How did this guy?
But then says, no, it was other kids, but just in case, I did do this. I'm sorry, no.
How did this guy become a governor?
Bizarre.
So that looked like a apology speech in the Footloose town, where you're not allowed to dance. Where he's like, I did dance in San Antonio. It was a different state than where I live. I did dance. I regret dancing.
Not here, though. Not here.
It was bizarre. Okay, while we're on that, can we play another part of that press conference where he's asked just this very bizarre question, and his answer is even more bizarre? Can we watch that?
You said that the competition in San Antonio was a dance competition?
Yes,
And it was that you danced the moonwalk?
that's right.
Are you still able to moonwalk?
Still able to moonwalk.
Go Virginia Register, whatever it is.
My wife says inappropriate
Look how
circumstances.
happy he got.
He wants to.
He was
though.
like, finally a softball I can do. Yeah, I can
wants to.
moonwalk.
He was
He
so close
wanted
to doing it.
so bad.
So the guy clearly has judgment issues.
That is
you know what I'm saying? Like if
fantastic.
he had questionable judgment back then, he's got questionable judgment now.
Yes.
Homeboy was about to do the moonwalk up there at CNN stage.
Oh, he got so
Which
excited.
would have earned, I would have given him some points back. If he was like, in my defense, it is a very good moonwalk.
I'm not sure who. I don't know if that actually showed who asked that question, but whoever it was, great job.
I know.
Deserves a Pulitzer. Yeah,
Are you
absolutely.
still able to moonwalk?
Wow.
Who would have
Richmond
thought to
Picayune
ask
or whatever.
that?
Yeah, good
Well, I
job.
mean, just looking at him, that's I got to ask him.
And you know that guy was just like,
he'll do
in
it.
the enthusiasm. Don't let him know what I'm doing. Don't let him know what I'm doing. Can you moonwalk? Yeah.
He's looking.
yeah.
I can do it. Sure, I can do it up here. No problem.
I'm wearing my wingtips.
So-
That is what I usually wear.
So, Jason, you're saying first you wanted to defend him, now not so much?
Well, now you can't,
you can't.
because he admitted to it now, and then he's got to be lying. I mean, he admitted to it, but then when he realized it was going to be hard to prove which person it was, because it was just not decipherable either way.
Did he see the picture? I mean, that's what I'm wondering is like, did his office come to him and say, we have this picture, it just surfaced from your medical school yearbook, and he's like, just apologize for it. And not look at it? I mean, if he looks at the picture immediately, you can tell that it's very hard to decipher who's who.
And that's something you're going to remember, for crying out loud. Anytime I dressed in costume to anything in college or high school, I remember what it was, especially if I did something like this.
But also if he's admitting to darkening his face previous times. Maybe he just did it so often he doesn't remember every time he did it.
If you posed with a person in a KKK outfit, you remember that.
That's a great point too. I was going to go. I was going to go there. Is that
Okay, have we looked at his high school calendar though?
That's the next thing.
We need to dissect his high school calendar. He needs to provide it.
That's a great point.
I would love to hear the morning pitch meeting after the story broke where they're like, oh, okay, we need to distract. What do people love? People love moonwalking. Okay,
Michael Jackson.
say it wasn't you, but just bring it up like you're apologizing about moonwalking, but let them know you can moonwalk. Maybe some reporters could ask you and then show them America loves you again.
I mean, I would like to just point out that, and he's mentioned it a little bit in one of the clips there, is that it really wasn't the same. It didn't have the same backlash that it does now back then, right?
Correct.
I mean, that was truly something that people could do to dress up, and they weren't doing it to poke fun. I mean, the KKK guy I can't defend, but as far as darkening your face to be Michael Jackson,
but
I mean, they do, that was not offensive at a certain point in time.
The Michael Jackson one's different than the blackface one, I think.
Yeah.
Like I because the minstrel shows that does have a long history. But the Michael Jackson thing,
I mean, he said he darkened his face, though.
You're imitating a person. You're not putting on a minstrel show, that kind of thing. They strike me as different.
But let's take the far extreme viewpoint. Let's say he was straight up racist, and that was the reason why he was doing that was because he was a racist person. He did do it, and because he was hardcore racist.
Which is very possible.
But doesn't mean that's how he is now.
Yeah.
And we've all done things, like I said, that we were stupid for way back in the day.
Which is how
I'm not the same person I was when I was in high school or college.
When I was in the Ford administration, the amount of mistakes that I made that I regret, this is something I would like us as a society, I think it would be good to kind of go, look, is there a statute of limitations on bad, like not just excusable, but truly bad things?
Well, I mean, that's what the head of Google said back, 8-9 years ago, that people were going to have two identities.
Yeah.
Right? They were going to have to, and everybody said, "What are you talking about? You're crazy." No, he said people are going to be doing so many bad things online that when they reach adulthood, they're going to have to be a different ID.
The left loves LBJ. They love Lyndon B. Johnson. Conservatives cannot stand him, but the left loves LBJ, and they say that one of the reasons is because what he did for poverty, things that he did for civil rights, all that stuff. Well, in this, no, I do not agree with that whatsoever. That's not me, but that's what members of the certain members of the left think. But in this day and age,
fixed poverty. It's not around anymore.
No, it's eradicated.
We would still have poverty if it weren't for LBJ.
But he would not be elected president. He would not even be a public figure at all in this day and age. He was a known racist. His driver, he called the N-word. It's in multiple books written about his life. Everyone knew that's what. LBJ. That's what he's saying, the N-word. Again, that's just how he was. But then a few years later. Again, it's up for debate on why he did the war on poverty and why he did everything. But he would not have been able to be in that position for them to raise him up as a big civil rights leader. They just wouldn't have. So anyway, I'm not saying LBJ changed, but there has to be
a change point. There
has to be a change. You have to leave it open. By all means, address it. If you see something like this, say, hey, can you explain this?
If your action,
you should feel free to say, look, he didn't even feel free to, at first he apologized, but then he was like, in this day and age, I can't just apologize anymore because they're not going to buy it. So then he had to double down. He had to say, no, that wasn't me, that was other kids.
He should have realized it because that's exactly what they're doing, and that's your point. You can't just apologize now, right?
Right.
But I mean, we do need to reach a point where, look, if your actions today don't have anything to do with how you acted in the past, you can say, hey, I was this way then, I'm not now. I've seen the error of my ways, and we have to take people for their word and their actions.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that many members on the left they're being called courageous for saying, okay, fine, we're drawing a hard line, and we're saying, yeah, he needs to resign. I think that's bullcrap. It would take a lot more guts for them to actually say, hey, look. What happened to Kavanaugh was wrong. What happens to certain people, like in this instance, no, they can't do it. But what they could say is, look, let's judge him on the content of his character right now. That's what civil rights is really about. Let's judge him on the content of his character right now.
Okay, let's judge him by the content of his character right now. The content of his character right now is saying that it's okay to kill children after they've exited their mother's womb. So I'm fine with judging him on the content of his character right now.
Let me ask you a quick question. Okay, how well can he moonwalk?
We'll be back. We'll be back in a minute. Take a break. No, I see what you're saying, but it's so frustrating for me because before we we get into enforcement officers and how we are so thankful that we have more of them, because that's just what we've all been wishing for, want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So we're all getting older and things start to hurt, right? Or maybe you had some sort of accident where you've got back pain. I know that happened to me from a car accident years back. And I struggled with trying to find something to take the pain away, because I do not like taking like painkillers. I don't like Big Pharma. I'm not like Stu. I'm not a proponent of Big Pharma or a fan of them. And so I was always trying different things. I tried acupuncture. I tried massage. Nothing worked except Relief Factor. I know Glenn has had a lot of luck with it as well. It's 100% drug-free. And so what it does is it targets the inflammation in your body, which in a lot of cases is the root cause of your pain, but people don't realize it. So if you want to try Relief Factor, 70% of the people who try their quick start pack that they have available go on to keep buying it. I would say the odds are in your favor that it's going to work for you and you can be out of pain, but try it out for yourself and see. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start pack for $19.95. Like I said, 70% of the people keep buying it. I'd say that's well worth the investment of $20 to get out of pain, because as you know, when you're in pain, it changes your life. So let this be your life-changing factor. Go to relieffactor.com. All right, Jeffy, you said enforcement officers. I'm really happy. I'm really excited. I kept waiting for them to bring us more enforcement officers to the streets of D.C. So what are they doing?
It started, let's not forget, this particular story started in Seattle, and then it went to San Francisco, and now it's in D.C. About banning straws. Plastic straws.
That was my nickname in college.
And it's important. It's going to save us all. It's going to save us all. Well, D.C. Passed a law that they're going to ban plastic straws, but they're not going to ban them until July 1st.
Why?
So that's the start date of the bill, of the law. But they've got the enforcement officer already out on the streets, banging on the restaurant doors, saying, you know, by July 1st, those are going to be illegal. I could write you a fine for $800.
They have a plastic straw enforcement officer.
A straw police officer is going around reminding them that if I come back here, you're on a list now.
Is that
on July 1st?
Jeffy, is there any other crime of note that happens in Washington, D.C.?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, not anymore.
Is that like a vice squad from the actual police department?
And he only makes like $60,000 a year. That's really kind of an underpaid job. But that, I mean, personally, I always wanted to be a Heinz ketchup police officer. It's a little bit different. We don't have to talk about that now. But
weren't you a bikini investigator for some time? Because you had that hat on the beach when we. Okay, sorry.
But I mean, it's amazing that I find it remarkable that we're already going around warning people that, you know, by July, I'm writing you a ticket, and you're already on my list because you still have plastic straws. So they want people already on board before the law even takes place.
Some might say that's a little bit of an abuse of power.
Just a little. Just a little. Just a reminder. Just a friendly reminder that I'm going to find you a lot of money.
I tried kind of walking through this, and like, you know, there is plastic and junk in the ocean. We can see it. I'm concerned about that. But when you're, I know it's mostly fishing equipment, right? But when you're thinking about this, though, is the problem that the plastic exists? No, that's not problematic. If the plastic is being put in a dump, it's actually fine. They line dumps with plastic itself to keep from seeping into stuff. It's okay. It's problematic if you're dumping it in the ocean. That's bad. Or if you're just throwing it out. And that made me think, well, wouldn't it be a better usage of public money if you're actually worried about this? Wouldn't it be better to hire like 2 people for $30,000 a year just to pick up straws on the street? Wouldn't that literally be a more responsible way of avoiding litter?
Great point.
You're welcome, DC. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
they're
not going to take your advice. That's too logical.
And there are other places now. It's a domino effect now, though, right? I mean, we have Seattle, San Francisco, Washington D.C. Reports that Florida wants to come on board with it, and they will, because it's the new green heaven.
What are they using?
The world will
cups?
be. The wonderful.
They've got like kind of a wax covered.
Yeah, it's a paper straw.
Paper straw.
They're awful.
I don't really like them because they've got
or you
kind of
they disintegrate too eventually.
And we've purchased the new metal straws, you know, that had come with their own little cleaner and stuff. And they're in the drawer. They're in the drawer because when we use something that needs a straw, you go to the cup that has all the plastic straws in it and use those.
I do. Okay, I'm going to sound really hippie for a second. I do have a set of glass straws that I use for my coffee. Because
I didn't use those for coffee, I'll tell you that. But Go ahead.
Anyway, because when you get the plastic hot, it's supposedly like releases
leach,
chemicals.
yeah.
It leaches chemicals into your drink. So whenever it's hot, I use my glass straw. And then whenever it's cold or room temperature, I use my plastic straw.
That makes sense to me. I see the thing that I think is problematic in this whole scenario with plastic straws and whatnot is I think that plastic has gone from let's have a conversation about the practical effects of plastic, which is a fine conversation
Absolutely.
to have, to plastic is a innately sinful material.
Evil.
Yeah.
There is something intrinsically evil. I went on a date when I was in Austin before I moved here, where I was just
Congratulations.
thank you very much, thank you. And I was talking. We were discussing. There's a lot of homeless people there, and I went, oh yeah, I've started buying bottles of water because it's like 110 degrees. And I'm like, if I pass someone on the street, I'll roll down the window, I'll give them a bottle of water. And later on, she's like, can we talk about that? Like, I'm just bothered that you're buying plastic. And I was like, for homeless people to drink water? Like
That's awesome.
We're on a different plane here. This is
know what?
just so like
You
I'm
better
not
take
throwing
one of
it
those
at
bottles
them.
because it's a long way back home where you were.
Wow.
But again, it's because plastic is evil, and it's you're purchasing a blasphemy against the earth when you buy it.
And it has, you talk about the metal straws, and it has created, there are tumblers now that come with their own straw that you clean with. So it has created, an opportunity for us to actually visit maybe a little bit of less trash in the world. I'm okay with that. That's fine. But to actually make it illegal for a restaurant to serve me a drink with a plastic straw, no. I'm sorry.
No.
And to hire its own little police
Right, the
force.
enforcement force.
Like, that's crazy. Like,
To enforce it before it's been
Right, well, there's
law.
just reminding you. Look, I'm in office. I've got my crossing guard vest on, and I can stop by and remind you that you, in a couple of months, will be illegal. And if I come back here and look at this list and I see a plastic straw, fine.
Do you know?
fine.
Do you know if the ban is just restaurants, or is it like can people in their homes still buy it in the grocery store?
For now, people can still get them. It's
Okay.
still, you can still use a private straw, which I think will be a problem in the fining capability, right? So if he walks in and I brought my own plastic straw, and I wish I had one to pull out of my pocket right now, and I do, and I didn't.
I would
don't
love
wanna
it
know
if
what
you
is
had
in
a
your
trench
pocket.
coat, Jeffy. You could open up and you had like a bunch of plastic straws. Hey, buddy, looks like you'd be drinking some soda later. You want a plastic
I
straw?
want to do that so bad, but right, and I bring my own, and he goes, "Hey, did you get that straw from this restaurant?" I mean, the restaurant's going to have to
Right.
put some kind of disclaimer at the front door. You're not going to be able to use your own plastic straws. Not inside this place.
You may
maybe.
not bring your own straw.
Right.
Again, I have to.
So
Are you
ridiculous.
throwing it away or are you throwing it in the ocean? Because if you're throwing it away, I'm fine with it.
I know. Personally, I'm okay with the ocean.
I think Jeffy.
Well, we part ways, Jeffy.
The ocean recycles. We're good.
Jeffy probably he stacks them, he keeps them in a collection until he gets to the ocean where he then dumps them.
Yeah, just
Well, I mean, we try to
Jeffy
slow down,
hates
and that
whales.
doesn't
He's not
work.
even neutral. He just actively hates sea animals.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back.
I think
Big
it's really
plastic.
I was just sitting here thinking how nice it would be if I had a straw to drink from my lovely mug.
Funny you should ask.
the black
We
market.
can't let the restaurant know that you're here.
Oh, he does have straws in
I
his
do.
pocket. Thank
$5.
me. All right, but maybe that was just a silly way of advertising for our mugs. Maybe I did need a straw. Who's to say? But we do have these mugs and more at shop.theblaze.com. We've got Chewing the Fat coffee
you.
mugs. We've got, Andrew, you've got some merch up there as
I've
well.
got T-shirts for many of the wonderful sponsors at the back of my program, like Snuffy's, which is a diner where all of the waitstaff rides horses.
And
There's a lot I got out right there,
obviously
but apparently
real.
I got T-shirts, so check it out.
Obviously
Nice.
real. We've got some other ones too, with some cool slogans. We've got a Covington Strong T-shirt. We've got "Don't California My Texas," which is one of
Amen.
my personal favorites.
Amen.
And get ready for spring. We also have, I love this, we have Blaze swimsuits, women's swimsuits. We've got one-piece swimsuits. I'm going to have one. You know you want to hit the beach with one, women.
I'm wearing one right now.
shop.theblaze.com. Andrew is always wearing one, apparently. And tomorrow, don't forget, we have a special State of the Union hosted by Eric Bowling. It's going to be a bunch of us getting together. Glenn's out in DC to do that as well. So make sure to tune in, and we will see you guys in overtime next.
Welcome.
Do you have any bourbon, Jeffy?
It's funny you should.